Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the Rebirth server. We are with Quintessence Lass, our level 46 brute, who has about a half a million XP to go to get to level 47 and our second to last superpower. And we're on a story arc for Maria Jenkins, who says we need to get Positron out of Dominatrix and Marauder's clutches. And she says we're going to work out the other half of this while you do the hard work. So again, we're on +3. Don't know if we're going to be able to solve this, but I'm just, I guess a glutton for punishment. We're going to keep it on +3 since we've been able to do it. It takes inspirations to beat these guys, but we can do it, and it makes the rest of the mission interesting and challenging as long as we're not fighting Circle of Thorns, which I don't think we will be doing in here with all those demon lords. Those guys are super annoying to fight on +3/4, but +3/+4, which is what you're doing on a +3 setting. But everybody else is okay at this level, so we're just going to keep it. And if it gets annoying, obviously I'll pause it, reset the mission, lower it down to +2 or +1, and go back in. But we'll try it at +3, and we'll keep doing that all the way through because this character is awesome, and she's able to do +3 most of the time. So let's head on in. This is it. Find Positron. He will not be here. Right? My memory of finding him is we do it in a cave, not in a lab. Defeat Dominatrix, defeat Marauder, and find Positron. But I think we're not going to actually find him. Who's here? Elite Ranger Idol. So okay, so there's nobody to watch or people. Nobody to worry about right here, at least. So we're just gonna kick butt and take names. I still don't know what ACU and BCU stand for. If anybody knows and wants to post in the comments, please feel free. I still don't know what it... I mean, it's obviously some kind of a unit, and I'm guessing a crime unit? Is it an anti-crime unit? Don't know. Right, and then BCU, I don't know what that stands for either. So as we go, let's talk role-playing games again, and this once again came up on the forum that I read, but it could obviously be about almost any role-playing game. As you remember in the last episode, we were talking about consequences, right? And hang on, let me pause here for just a second. So we were talking about consequences in the context of the consequences that come from making certain choices about how you build your character. And how there was a player who had chosen to give his wizard a low strength and had chosen not to make his wizard strength go up at the various stat increases that happen every 4 levels, and didn't want to have to burn the use of an attunement slot to get a strength-based magic item. And so he just wanted the strength to go up because he wanted it to be higher, even though really the game doesn't justify that, right? And he didn't do anything. He had multiple choice points, multiple times when he chose to do stuff that didn't increase his strength. These are all minions, okay. And then he was mad that he has a low strength. And I said, choices have consequences. That's actually an important part of a role-playing game. So, not having to do with characters, but having to do with consequences, a DM posted on the D&D Beyond Dungeon Master forum about how his party was in a big battle, and they are allied with an NPC who is the king, and the king and his, I guess, assistant were in the fight with the party. It was a really tough fight. The king was wounded and the assistant was killed. and one of the players, the thief in the party, right kind of in sight of the king, we have fortitude on this guy. Let's see if we can kill her off and make that go away. I don't know if it'll go away, but we'll try. Anyway, right in front of the king, the thief looted the corpse of the dead king's assistant, right? And what is my 2 hit on this? 62%. Why am I missing so much? So they looted the king's assistant, and the king saw it, right? And so I guess the session ended there, and the DM said, what do I do? By law in this kingdom, if you steal, you get your hand cut off, right? And apparently the players sort of know this, but they stole anyway. And so the conversation mostly went around like, here are various ways you can do things, but the DM was complaining that these players just do all of these chaotic things and they don't seem to worry about the consequences. And he said they've been playing the game for 2.5 years in this campaign, and they just they haven't learned that there are consequences for their actions. And so my first question to him was, and he hasn't answered, so I don't know what his answer is going to be, well, have there been consequences to their actions? Because I think that most players in a campaign where, players have had their hands cut off before for stealing, or have been executed for a murder, or have otherwise suffered consequences for their actions, they would have learned to watch out. So I feel like this seems to me to be a case in which maybe the DM has not been enforcing consequences, and so the players have kind of gotten used to there not being any consequences. And then you kind of can't blame them if that's the case. Right? I mean, after all, if they've been able to go 2 years without a consequence, then why would you be surprised that they're not worried about the consequences? So I don't know. Maybe there have been consequences and they just don't care. One of the things I also said is you need to have a conversation with your players, because some people want a freewheeling, consequence-free game. They just want to, show up and have a beer and pretzels game of D&D and just kill things and not worry about the consequences. And, many times not have a really tough fight. Right? They just want everything to be a walkover. And it's not necessarily wrong to play D&D that way, but if the players want a consequence-free game and the DM wants consequences, you have a disconnect, and that needs to be addressed. But the other thing I thought about, I've seen this kind of D&D or role-playing game played before. I've been in it occasionally, although rarely. I've seen it played on stream shows where the DM kind of allows the players to get away with all kinds of crazy, chaotic stuff. And what happens is the sort of chaos factor, the chaos level of the campaign just goes up and up and up until the point where just the craziest stuff just keeps happening, and it just gets crazier and crazier every session, right? And as long as the DM doesn't enforce consequences, then you just have increased craziness happening over and over again. And it just gets wild. And I don't even watch shows like that after a while, because I just find that it not believable. What's happening is so far-fetched that I just can't believe in the world anymore, right? I can't believe in what's happening in front of me. It's no longer convincing to me, and therefore I don't have any interest anymore, and I stop watching. And I wouldn't probably enjoy that sort of thing as a player either. So, ironically, and this is my point, you cannot escape consequences. And ironically, there is a consequence to playing a consequence-free game. And that is, it's going to completely change the style of the world. It makes the game cartoonish, right? I mean, there is a role-playing game called Toon, that is designed to make the game play like a cartoon, right? So, Bugs Bunny gets flattened by like like a locomotive running over him, draw like driven by Wile E. Coyote, and he gets up and then hits Wile E. Coyote with a nuclear missile, and there are no consequences. And that kind of cartoonish play, it can be fun. After all, there's a whole role-playing game built around it, and if it weren't fun, the game wouldn't have existed as many years as it did. And I had a friend who actually had a copy of it. I remember him bringing it to a session one time and saying, "Hey, do you guys want to play this?" The thing is, most of us wanted to play a game with consequences, so we said no thanks. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with it. Lots of people like to play it, but there is a consequence to playing games with no consequences, and that is that they become cartoonish and unrealistic. And maybe that's the sort of game you want to play. If so, that's fine. But that is the unescapable consequence of playing a game with no consequences. If you think back to the guy who wanted to raise his strength without having to pay for any of the things you have to pay for in D&D to get your strength higher. If the DM says, okay, you can make your strength as high as you want and as long as you work out during downtime, and then says to the other players, well, if you study during downtime, you can get your intelligence raised, and if you practice on the balance beam during downtime, you can raise your dex. Well, sooner or later, you're just going to have a party full of players that have maxed out stats in every single stat, right? Because that's what's ultimately going to happen. And so, because that's what they want, and you're allowing them to just max out their stats without following the rules, there will be so they're not suffering any consequences of the build choices they're making with their character, but there will be a game consequence because now it'll be impossible to challenge those players with normal challenges, and you're going to have a level 5 party that's beating an ancient dragon. And if you want to play that way, that's fine, but that is a consequence of allowing those sorts of things in your game. That is the consequence of saying to players there's no consequence to your build choices. The thing is, there's always a consequence when you make a choice. If you choose to play a game without consequences, that choice gives you consequences. You're going to play a different style of game than a game that has consequences. So this DM, going back to the original story, is complaining because the players are not respecting the fact that there are consequences in the game, right? Maybe the DM has not given them consequences. And that lack of consequence in the game has led to a consequence, sort of an out-of-game consequence, which is the DM isn't happy with the game style. And that's because he wants a game style where the players are acting, having their characters act as if there will be consequences, but there haven't been. And so the consequence of there being no consequences is that the players act like there are no consequences. And it changes the whole play style of the game. And this is the thing. Choices have consequences, right? If you decide to play a game in which the choices don't have consequences, that is a choice that will have consequences with the style of play. It's a reality. When you choose, there are consequences. All right. Just like this, I've chosen to fight this villain at +4 or +3. She's +3 to me, right? So that choice has consequences. This battle is going to be harder. I might not be able to beat her. If I can beat her, I might have to use so many inspirations that I have to pause the video and go out and get a new full set of inspirations to beat the next guy. Look how many hit points she has. Look how little damage I'm doing to her. She has so much resistance, right? Apparently equally resistant to both negative and smashing. Because if you watch the 15-15-15 coming up from Shadow Maul, none of them is doing more damage, right? Neither the negative nor the smashing. Right, so we're doing okay, but we're going to have to use another round of inspirations. And by the way, we're doing the 15-15-15 with 179% damage. So the default would be something like 12 damage? No, 9 damage, something like that. I'm at 230, 228% damage, and I'm still doing 15 per shot. And that's down to her resistance. Look at this. I've only got her at half hit points. And at some point, she's going to go, like, invulnerable, I think. Maybe not. She's a gravity controller type. Maybe she doesn't have Moment of Glory or whatever. She's way less annoying than the one from the other mission. But one of the reasons it is taking us this long to beat her up, and we're going to have to use our whole tray and go back out after... Oh, I need to turn on focus accuracy. We're going to have to go back out when we finish her before we go fight the other guy. One of the reasons this is taking so long is because I made the choice to fight +3s. By the way, I think that power where you're like sucking objects from like through a dimensional portal and throwing them at people, look at that stuff. It's so cool. There's like office chairs and lamps, and she just threw a jukebox at me or something, or a slot machine. That is just so freaking awesome. But she's going to take the full tray. And that means I'm going to have to go out and get more inspirations before I fight Marauder. She's not really doing anything to me so far. Got her. Alright, guys, look at it. Look at this. Let's guard her. Water cooler, office chairs, rocks. That is so cool. Telephone pole. She threw a lot at me. Alright, so we defeated Dominatrix. I'm going to pause here. I will bring you back when we've got our full tray of inspirations. Alright, we are back. We have to defeat the Marauder and find Positron, but we're not going to be able to save him, I'm fairly sure. We don't need to go that way, I don't think. I think this is the way to go. Not seeing Marauder yet. And I can't remember where Positron's... Like, there he is. Is everything prepared? Positron, let's go. Yes, Lady Grey, I need to speak to you. I'm not Lady Grey. Transmit war code authorization. Coal, Whiskey, Niner, 2 Tango. What are you doing? You're trying to lower the war walls? Do not question my order, Lady Grey. Oh no, this isn't Positron. It's some hyper-advanced clockwork. Looks like they didn't finish programming him. So now we need to just defeat Marauder. And there he is. So let's make sure. Now this guy, I'm pretty sure when I fought him, I couldn't beat him. And on +3, we may not be able to. But we'll try taking out these guys and seeing if we can beat him by ourselves. Let me take a look here on info. Does it say basic crime unit, maybe? Doesn't really say what the BCU stands for. Alright, let's taunt this guy over here. Fortunately, these guys are +3 and not +4. Because that would make Marauder +4, probably. So There's Marauder. Is there anybody else? There is not. Alright, guys, here we go. We'll make one attempt at this. If I fail it, I'm going down to +0, and I'll defeat these two and then bring you back for the next mission. But we'll try. The team resist slash defense. Oh, if we can't hit him, we're going to have a hard time. But the team resist slash defense was in my mailbox from Veteran Rewards. Now this guy we're doing 30 and 15, so he's got less resistance than his partner Dominatrix had. And you can see we're doing damage faster, a little faster to him. He's doing more to us. And he's harder to hit than she was. But we're doing more damage when we hit him. I don't think he has negative resistance. Now we need to get our inspirations re-upped. Get our soul drain re-upped. Did I switch these over? What the heck did I do here? Dark consumption? No, alright. Oh, I'm on the wrong... I'm on the wrong tab, okay. By the way, guys, we are one beat from level 47. So my guess is what he's going to do is become, like, unhurtable now. Yeah, because he's got super smashing, but he doesn't have... I don't think he has a lot... Oh, yeah, he does have some negative resistance as well. Some, but not that much. Yes, a lot. Okay. He's basically unhurtable now until he comes out of that... whatever that power is that he's got on now. Either unstoppable or one of those. So we just have to wait him out. Those team inspirations last longer too, which is nice. So we just have to wait until we're doing full damage again. It might be 2 or 3 minutes, which is really obnoxious. Ah, here, no, I thought for a second that we had gone back to the higher damage level, but we have not. At least we can get our endurance back, because otherwise it would be absolutely brutal. Yeah, his regeneration is so high that I can... Basically, all I'm doing is counteracting his regen so he doesn't heal. I'm not actually doing anything to him. So it's going to be interesting to see, if you watch the timestamp, you know, how long did his unstoppable or whatever this is last? Oh, I drained his endurance pretty far. That's pretty good. If only I could drain it a little more, but... Got him. And we've completed the mission. And that was 30,000 XP to defeat him. Let's head out. So that one mission, if we take a look, we had 577,000 XP to earn. We earned 300,000 from that one mission, guys. That is a lot of XP. Excellent work on the hyper advanced clockwork before stopping the hyper advanced clockwork before it can infiltrate us. Final chapter. I think we should finish this up. So we're going to go and save Positron. But of course, before we do that, we are going to need to refresh our inspirations. So let me do that, and I will be right back. Alright, folks, we are back. I've got a full set of inspirations, and one of the things I did was I came in here first to just see who we were fighting. I wanted to make sure we weren't going to be fighting a whole bunch of demon lords, because I don't want to fight them at +3. So, since it's just Praetorians, um, it's either going to be a Praetorians or maybe a mix, then I'm okay with doing this at +3. Marauder's here to help us. He is level 49, just like the mission, so that should be helpful too. I don't know where he went. Not Marauder, sorry, Manticore. I don't know what he's up to. He's ignoring me. So my recollection is when I've done this before, Manticore has died in the fight to save Positron. I have no problem with that. Obviously nobody dies in City of Heroes, you just get defeated. You see all the arrows he shoots into people. Pretty cool. Not sure which way to go here, so we'll just pick randomly. That's an ice arrow, very cool. And a web. He's got some nice mez. I guess he's a trick arrow defender or something. Come on. Targeted the wrong guy. What's he doing? He's good on health. Again, don't know which way to go here, so we're just randomly go. He's not buffing me. She sort of feels buffed somehow. Quintessence last. Like she's running faster and her powers are recharging faster, but I don't think so. And it, like, I was just playing yesterday, so it's like sometimes when I don't play for a while, I forget how fast a high-level character plays. But I just played this game yesterday, so, and the day before. So I don't know why. She just seems like she's running a little faster and recharging a little faster than normal. I'm trying to watch the numbers. I don't think so, though. I think it's just all in my head. I did go back and I was watching a couple of the very early, like, first season episodes with this character, so maybe I got into my head those timings a little bit, and obviously that was a much slower recharge. So is this just looping around, or are we going to go into the center? Oh, they are draining my endurance, are they not? Well, let's take some back. I think this is the way to go. Yep. And who is the villain back there? I don't know, but we will see if we can do some pulling. Ah, there's the buff. He's buffing me with maneuvers. Maybe that's having an effect. And back. Yeah, it's very hard to pull in this room because Marauder's an idiot. And he will aggro everything under the sun. Right, so he starts shooting at them, and then you have to move in. And there's no way to get him to stop or to hold back. And unfortunately, and this is the hilarious part, unlike every other freaking NPC in the game, where they can't find you if you turn on your stealth, for the hero NPCs that are your allies, a lot of them can find you, and Marauder absolutely can. Because it'd be perfect to turn stealth on and make him lose me and stop here, and then I could taunt people, run them back, and then let him aggro to them here, but you can't do that with him. So at some point he's going to aggro our big bad up here, the Olympian Guard. He's going to do an AoE or something. And that's going to be it. And at that point, I ignore him and go after the big bad. But these guys are level 49. We should be able to beat the Olympian Guard, I hope, at this level. But we'll see. Well, this is great. We pulled 3 of them out. Excellent. The more we pull out, the better. Don't like pulling as a brute. The main reason you have to do this pulling, besides the fact that there's a +3 EB in there, is because of how stupid Marauder is, and, you know, he'll just over-aggro everything. And I would like to keep him alive for story reasons, right? Okay, that worked. The more we can pull, the better. Back up, Marauder, back up. So one of the tricks with these guys, because they do get behind you, is to pull them way back and then run up ahead of them so that they don't keep up. And then by the time he catches up, right, you can at least do some pulling. Oh, see, he froze them. And then that kind of, well, now I got to come in, right? Okay, so that's good. We've got them on this side taken care of. Let's go to the other side. Come with me, Marauder. It's really a shame that they didn't just give you the mastermind commands with these NPCs so they weren't so annoying. You should, to me, I feel like you should be able to enjoy having the NPCs with you instead of hating them. And instead of having to do all this silly nonsense to try and, like, prevent the NPC from being so stupid that they ruin the whole mission for you, I shouldn't have to do that. Right? It should be a pleasure to have the NPCs with you rather than a negative. See if I can taunt her. Let her leave Manticore alone. Oh, Manticore, stop it now. Back up, back up. Back up. Don't just stand there, come on. At some point, we're going to get too close. Come with me, good. He didn't see them and he followed me. Oh, these idiots ran into the fire like you're a moron. It's in your own base and you don't know that you shouldn't run into the fire. That's hilarious. Now, if I had knockback I'd be like, I'm going to knock them all back into the fire, but I don't have knockback. We're getting close to the limit of what we can do pulling these guys out. But so far, it's actually worked really well. I mean, it absolutely helps to know the mission, right? Know who's here and know what stupid things Manticore is going to do so that you can avoid the stupid. It's hard to avoid the stupid with him, but I think, guys, I think we've got it. We can't pull these guys out. So I think we're ready. And this is a team, resist and defense, so hopefully it will help him too. And in we go. Oh, and I've had super jump on this whole time because I'm an idiot. Alright, so I'm going to focus on Olympian Guard. I'm going to trust Manticore to take these other guys out. Hopefully he will. Yeah, he's got AoEs and stuff. And one big assist for me with Olympian Guard, who I'm going to try to keep taunted. I'll keep them all taunted, that's fine. Is I'm debuffing him, so he's going to have a harder time hitting Manticore, which is awesome. And there's Positron up there, entangled. Sweet. Oh, did he just kill Manticore? No. Manticore is alive and okay. I can't heal Manticore, so we're just going to pound. This should keep them all aggro, doing AoEs and stuff. Manticore's still alive. I don't think I've ever kept him alive before. Should have Olympian Guard near floored against me, and we've got 2 of these buffs on. They're, I think, going to add 36% defense total to Manticore, so that should really help Manticore. He is getting hit, but we got him, and we leveled up, guys. We're level 47, and we freed Positron, and we should be getting a badge. There we go. And reward merits. There we go. 21 of them. Not bad. And Manticore survived. That may be the first time I've ever keeping him fully alive. We had to go back and watch my other videos, but I think that may be the first time I've actually kept him fully alive. I didn't have any way to heal him, but I was able to floor. And you know, Dominatrix was the hardest of all of them. And I feel like she should have been at the end. But maybe the reason they didn't make the Olympian Guard that difficult is because he was surrounded by minions. And I guess they figured people might have trouble with that. I don't know. Maria says, "You did it, Quintessence last. Positron has been rescued. I don't think I've ever been so proud." Yep, we saved Positron and we leveled up as a reward. So let's go and pick our... I have no idea what I'm going to get. Pick our level 47 power. Hopefully something that doesn't need a lot of slots, guys. Because I still have to put slots on... What else here? I'd like to get 3 more on Dark Consumption and finish that up. I'd like to get 1 on Overload. Another 1 on Physical Perfection. Not too bad. But then I wouldn't mind upping the toggles if I could. Just so that I could maybe put some sets in there. Although my guess is by the time we've got the slots for the toggles, it'll be so late there's no point to putting sets. So we're done with Maria. We're at a new level. I will, after we done leveling up, obviously I'll stop. I won't film until we get into another story arc for our level 47 story arc. Alright, Castle. Give me a new power. So we're done with our primaries and secondaries. Energy Torrent is a cone of powerful energy. The question is, can I turn this dark? Minor damage, yeah, that's kind of useless. Superior conditioning gives me more endurance, which would be nice. And I don't think I would need to slot it. Our endurance has been fine. Is there another pool we could pick from? We don't need concealment, leadership. Present sorcery speed. Yeah, I mean, we could, yeah, you know, go the old hasten route. I really don't want to do that. And I don't think this character needs it, really. I think. Do we need the laser beam eyes? I so wanted a ranged attack when this character started, but I don't know that we really need it. She doesn't need anything, really. Let's try the laser beam eyes. Why not? Well, no, then we're going to need to slot it. Oh, no, it's not worth it. Let's take superior conditioning. So our endurance should now be 105. 107. Yeah, because we got some other bonus too. So we have 107 base endurance. That always helps. And what helps the most is not having the more endurance. Okay, that's great. But what also helps with it is then when you like increase something by a percent, that also goes up. So for example, if you look at endurance, regeneration, recovery, right? It's a percent per second, right? So we're at 3% a second. That gives us a little bit more, right? 3% of 107 is higher than 3% of 100. I mean, not by a lot. It's like tenths of an endurance, but if you do a tenth of an endurance extra for 60 seconds, right? That's 6 extra endurance over a minute. Well, that's like 2 whole more attacks we could do in a minute. It doesn't seem like a lot, but over time it adds up. Anyway, we're going to stop there, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. We're level 47. We've just 47, 48, and 49 left to go with this character. I'm kind of bummed in the sense that I'm loving this character. I absolutely love Dark Melee. It's super awesome. It's my second favorite set. Energy Aura is my second favorite secondary. I mean, I love this stuff, and the effects are awesome. The animations are great, and the powers. And +3, we're beating elite bosses at +3 and +4, and we're just kicking their butts. I don't think I've lost to any of them, did I? In this whole story arc, that is amazing, and I don't think any of my other characters could have done that. This is quite possibly my most powerful character, and probably will be by the time we're done with sets and everything. And if I could get full sets on all of her powers, she would be. I mean, she is just awesome. So I'm having a blast with this character. I'm going to be kind of bummed to stop playing her. But I already have other ideas. I've got a Ninja Blades Ninjutsu Stalker that I started on Homecoming, and I've also got a Brute on Homecoming, and I've got a couple other characters on this server. So I'm always happy to play low-level characters and start a new adventure. Um, anyway, so I'm kind of bummed that we're coming to the end, but I'm also really excited to see this character level up and really come into her own. She's so awesome now, and having a lot of fun with it. Um, we'll stop here, and until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes on the Rebirth server.